Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the first weekly review of the Historical Baseball Project 1993 season. My name is Dave Little. On behalf of the Epic Sports Broadcasting Network, I welcome you here to the Dave Cave for a recap of action in the 1993 Historical Baseball Project. As we have already got 83 seasons worth of historical baseball in the database. You can see all the great seasons that we have enjoyed. And we can see the historical baseball champions dating all the way back to 1901 with a number of fine owners and fine baseball teams, including Dave Little getting some championships with the Oakland A's in the early 70s and a couple of championships with the Cincinnati Reds in the heyday of the 70s. So how this works is that each owner is assigned one or two teams. You can play one team or you can play teams out of both, one team out of each league if you so choose. And we play through all of the home games for any given season for each of the teams. And as we kick off 1993, I will be running my beloved Cincinnati Reds. We've been together through thick and thin over the years of the Historical Baseball Project. And in 1993, I have also agreed to take on the American League Texas Rangers. It was a lousy year for the Reds in 93. They won only 73 games. And we will abide by their struggles. But because we're on kind of the off season for my basketball league and I have some additional gaming time available, I'm going to take on the 86 win Texas Rangers and see if we can't get them into the playoffs. They were not able to make the playoffs in the real year in 1993, but we'll see how we do under the management of one Dave Little. All right, so let's get into the action for the month. And the highlight of the month of April for the Historical Baseball Project in my games was a no-hitter. You may have seen this on the Sports Simulations and Replays Facebook page, hosted by me, that Roger Pavlik, the third starter for the Texas Rangers behind Kenny Rogers and Kevin Brown, came through with a no-hitter against the Baltimore Orioles on April the 14th of 1993, shutting the Orioles down. He gave up 5 walks, but no hits and no runs over 9 innings to make history in the Historical Baseball Project. We've had a number of no-hitters over the years. The most recent no-hitter was in the 1992 American League Championship Series, authored by Randy Johnson of the Seattle Mariners as he shut down Toronto. And now it is Roger Pavlik who is the first guy to record a no-hitter in the 1993 Historical Baseball Project season. He battled against Jamie Moyer. Moyer didn't pitch badly, 8 innings, only 2 earned runs off of 10 hits, but that was off of 5 hits and 10 strikeouts. But that was all of the offense that Pavlik needed to bring home the victory. The remainder of the month for the Rangers was not the stellar debut for which I had hoped. The month began with a visit from the Boston Red Sox. And the Red Sox came into Texas and took 2 out of 3 from the Rangers. Opening day was definitely an inauspicious debut as Red Sox starter John Dobson shut down Texas on 6 hits over 8 innings. The game was scoreless until the top of the 5th when Scott Cooper led off with a home run. Against Roger Pavlik. The Red Sox scored 3 more in the inning and busted out to a 4-0 lead, courtesy of a 2-run shot by Billy Hatcher. Boston added 2 unearned runs in the 8th on a throwing error by Dean Palmer and coasted to victory. April 10th was dramatic. It took 16 innings to decide this one, as Roger Clemens and Charlie Leibrandt dueled for 7 innings, and Texas held a 2-1 lead until Billy Hatcher once again homered for the Red Sox to tie the game at 2. The bullpens battled it out for 9 more innings before David Holtz won it with a walk-off double in the 16th. Exciting stuff there. Todd Burns came out of the bullpen for Texas and delivered 5 shutout innings and recorded the victory in that extra inning thriller. The rubber game went to the Red Sox as they jumped on Brian Bohannon for 9 runs in 4 innings in the series finale and coasted to victory. The bottom of the order did the damage for Boston as the 5 through 9 hitters combined for 10 hits. Mo Vaughn went 4 for 5 and Bob Melvin homered and drove in 4. Danny Darwin was your winner for Boston as he pitched into the 9th to earn the victory. The Rangers' offense was anemic in the opening series. They batted only .215, and it was right fielder Jose Canseco who took the schneid for the series, 0 for 14, not starting off well for Texas in the home month of April. Next, it was the Baltimore Orioles who came to town for a 3-game set. And the opening game of that series saw more misery for the Rangers offense as Mike Mussina shut them down and outdueled Kevin Brown in Brown's home debut. Hall of Famer Harold Baines led the Baltimore offense with 3 hits, including his first home run, and it was actually Alan Mills who got the victory in relief for Baltimore. Game 2 also went the Orioles' way. The Rangers' bats finally woke up as Juan Gonzalez and Dean Palmer went back-to-back in the first inning to give the Rangers a 3-1 lead. But the outburst was wasted as Kenny Rogers surrendered runs in each of his first 4 innings of work. It was Jack Voigt who powered Baltimore with 2 home runs to put the Orioles up 6-3. The Rangers rallied with 2 in the 9th, but the rally came short when Dean Palmer struck out with the bases loaded to end the ball game. Then came April 14th and the no-hitter by Pavlik, which finally reversed the fortunes for Texas as they improved to 2-4 on the month. On the strength of that no-hitter. And to top off the month at home, it was a visit from the Detroit Tigers. And the Rangers swept a pair from Detroit, taking the opening game 3-2 in 12 innings. Mark Leiter was dominant for Texas in his start. He gave up only 1 earned run through 9 innings and struck out 10. But Charlie Leibrandt was up to the task for Texas, and he gave the Rangers a 2-0 lead when he exited the game in the 7th. Detroit finally broke through for 2 runs in the 7th, and Travis Fryman tied the ball game with a home run for Detroit. But Mario Diaz walked it off for the Rangers in the bottom of the 12th with a 2-out home run to send the Texas fans home happy. More dramatics on the final game of the season, April 29th, as the Rangers finished the month 4-4 on the strength of a dramatic 2-run homer by Juan Gonzalez in the bottom of the 7th inning, which broke the 2-2 tie. Broke the 4-4 tie and gave the Rangers the sweep of the series and allowed them to finish the month at 4-4. Tom Henke finally got his first save of the season in the last home game of April. That takes us over to the Cincinnati Reds. Now, the Reds pitching staff is going to consist of Jose Rijo and not much else. And we figured that that would be the case, as opening day started off with a bang on April 5th as the Reds went up 2-0 after 2 innings against Dennis Martinez. But Montreal tied it quickly in the 4th on home runs by John Vander Wal and Marquise Grissom. The Reds jumped back on top 4-2 in the 5th, but Montreal came back with 3 runs on 5 hits in the 6th inning to take the lead for good and send Rijo down to defeat. Montreal added a pair of insurance runs against the Cincinnati bullpen late in the game, and John Wetland pitched the final 2 innings for the Expos to earn his first save. 2 hits and 2 RBI for Moise Alou also helped out in the Expos' victory. Things went from bad to worse on April 7th as Marquise Grissom hit 3 home runs and Larry Walker hit 2 home runs for the Expos as they jumped all over Tim Pugh. And it was Ken Hill who was the beneficiary of that offensive outburst as he went the distance, holding the Reds to a pair of solo home runs while coasting to victory. The Reds finally got their first victory of the month of April on the 8th with a shutout victory over Montreal in the series finale. Tim Belcher combined with 3 Reds relievers to shut out the Reds and stop the bleeding. Belcher held Montreal to 6 hits over 6 1/3 innings, while striking out 6 to get the Reds off the schneid. Cincinnati got all the offense they needed in the first inning, thanks to a 2-run double by Chris Sabo, who then scored on a passed ball. Former Expo Jeff Reardon finished it off for the Reds to pick up his first save. Next, it was the New York Mets coming to Cincinnati for a 3-game set at Riverfront Stadium. And in the opening game of that series, the Mets jumped all over Tom Browning. Browning was smoked for 10 runs in only 4 innings as the Mets cruised to victory. 2 home runs by Dave Gallagher, 3 for 4 for Vince Coleman with 3 RBIs. Pete Shurik scattered 11 hits over 6 1/3 innings to qualify for the win. I've got the dudes backwards here on the score sheet. So we'll move Shurik up to the victory. Browning takes the defeat. You notice I didn't say Shurik earned the victory. He qualified for the victory because he hung around for 6 1/3 innings, although he was not effective, yielding 11 hits to the Reds on the night. Game 2 between the Mets and the Reds went 10 innings, and it was dramatic. Jose Rijo and Frank Tanana went inning for inning in an old-fashioned pitcher's duel. Reggie Sanders homered for the Reds in the first, but Tanana kept the Reds scoreless for the rest of his 7-inning stint. Rijo held New York scoreless until the 8th when Tony Fernandez doubled and scored on a pinch-hit single by Jeff McKnight to tie the game and send Rijo home with the no decision despite 5 innings of outstanding work. Reggie Sanders did all the damage for the Reds. He homered in the first, and it was Sanders who provided the dramatics in the 10th when he tripled. And then Jeff Innes balked him home for the game winner. So Reggie Sanders scored on the walk-off balk by Jeff Innes, and the Reds picked up the 2-1 victory in 10 innings. April the 18th, the rubber game went to the Reds on a strong pitching performance by Tim Pugh. Pugh didn't do so well in his first start, but against the Mets, he held New York to 2 runs, 1 earned over 6 innings, while the Reds pecked out 4 runs in 4 innings off Brett Saberhagen. The Reds scored 3 runs in the 4th on RBI doubles by Chris Sabo and Joe Oliver to stake Pugh to the lead. The Cincinnati bullpen took it over in the 7th, and Jeff Reardon locked it down for his second save. So the Reds are now 3-3 as they welcome the Florida Marlins into town. Both these games finished with a 3-1 final score, and it was a series split. In Game 1, it was another tough luck outing for Jose Rijo as he dueled Charlie Huff. Rijo shut out Florida for 7 innings, but the Reds managed only 1 run against Huff, and Florida broke through for 3 in the 8th against Rijo on back-to-back doubles by Jeff Conine and Orestes Destrade. Brian Harvey came through to close it for the Marlins. The Reds got back in the winning column on the 27th as Tim Belcher again stepped up to save the day for Cincinnati, shutting out Florida over 6 innings. Roberto Kelly, with a 3rd-inning home run, provided the big blow for the Reds' offense, and Belcher made it stand up and the Reds went to 4-4. The final series of April took place between the Reds and the Pirates, and again it was a series split, with the Pirates taking the opener on a big offensive performance as Pittsburgh rose up for a 6-run 7th inning for a come-from-behind victory over Cincinnati. It was Al Martin who keyed the rally with a 2-run single as Pittsburgh strung together 4 straight 2-out hits in that big 6-run rally. The Pirates finished that game 7 for 16 with runners in scoring position, picking up the win over reliever Bobby Ayala, and Blas Minor came on for the save. Jeff King 2 for 5 and 3 RBIs for the Pirates. The Reds finally made it to 5-5 in a dramatic win on April 29th as Joe Oliver crushed a 2-run homer in the bottom of the 8th inning to give the Reds the come-from-behind 3-2 victory. The score was tied at 1 heading into the 8th when the Pirates took the lead on a base hit by Jay Bell. But Joe Oliver went deep off of Denny Nagel in the bottom of the 8th to give the dramatic win to the Reds, and relief pitcher Jerry Spradlin, who finished it out to earn his first victory of the season. So, that was the month of April in Texas and Cincinnati for the Historical Baseball Project. Both teams finished at 500 for the month. I expect better from Texas. I do not expect better from the Reds. Let's take a look at the stats for the month. We will start with the team stats for Texas. And as you can see, the offense for Texas vastly underperformed, batting only .209 for the home games in the month of April, and managing only 25 runs over those 8 games. Doug Strange was the lone bright spot for the offense. He batted .400, 12 for 30 for the month with a team high 3 home runs to go with 5 RBIs. Juan Gonzalez and Rafael Palmeiro also with 5 RBIs for the month. But look at the batting averages. Palmeiro 212, Pudge Rodriguez 152, Dean Palmer 152, Jose Canseco 071, 2 for 28 for the home games in April for Texas. And I expect the Rangers offense to wake up as we get into May and beyond. The pitching staff outperformed expectations in April for Texas. You can see it was a 2.96 ERA, and that was in spite of a lousy start by Kenny Rogers, who went 6.2 innings in his only home start of the month, surrendering 10 hits and 5 earned runs to take the defeat. Kevin Brown also 0-1. I expect those two guys to wake up. I do not expect Roger Pavlik to go 2.25 for the entire year. Charlie Leibrandt was stellar, 1.38 over 13 innings, but failed to pick up a decision. And Tom Henke, of course, the stud closer for Texas, only got 1 save opportunity on the month, but was unscored upon in 6 innings of work for the Rangers. Finally, let's take a look at the Cincinnati statistics for the month of April. We'll pull those up. And bring those into the screen. Oops. And here we go. Reggie Sanders was the offensive player of the month, batting .297 for the month with just the 1 home run and 1 RBI. 11 for 37 on the month. 11 strikeouts for Sanders. The leading RBI man of the month was Chris Sabo with 4 runs batted in. Joe Oliver, 2 home runs, 5 RBIs, was the RBI leader. But the Reds managed only a .245 average, and I don't know that that's going to get a whole lot better. Although this team will beat up some lefties. They've got some guys: Kevin Mitchell, Randy Milligan, Juan Samuel, who can bash lefties. But against righties, not so much. And the Reds will do well to win those 73 games and replicate their regular season performance. The Reds pitching staff, Rijo didn't pitch badly, 23 innings, 21 hits, and a 3.42 average, but some bad luck and the lack of run support leaves Rijo standing at 0-2 for April. Tim Belcher, on the other hand, 2-0 with 2 solid performances and no earned runs surrendered over the month of April. 12 innings pitched, 11 hits, no earned runs, 2 walks, 8 strikeouts for Belcher. And of course, the high ERAs, not unexpected from Tim Pugh and Tom Browning. Going to be a long season for those guys. But for April, both teams managed to go 500 as we head into May. All right, everybody, that wraps up our week in review for the Historical Baseball Project. Thank you for checking this out. I will be back hopefully every Monday with summaries of the Reds and Rangers in the 1993 Historical Baseball Project. And thanks for checking this out. That's our stream, and I am out of here.